Welcome to the fastest stop in town. Today on Masechtas Taanit Daf Ches, we are going to begin on the bottom of Zayin Beis, 5 lines on the bottom. Yomi Rabbi, my nechsiv. What does the following pasuk mean? Im keha barzel, if the iron is dull, v'hulu panim kilkal, and it does not have a sharpened edge. So it means like this: Imr isa rakia, shakiha kabarzel. If you see the sky that it is dull like iron, that it doesn't cause rain or dew to come. It's because the generation is not worthy. You have to strengthen yourself by asking Hashem for compassion. It would be even greater if we would have been proper from the beginning. As we continue to Chesed Al, if you see a student that his learning is very difficult to him, just like iron, the reason is it's because his learning is not arranged properly. And therefore, that's the reason why it's too difficult. Rashi says, "Panim kilkil shekilkil b'mishna shehi kodim l'gemara. Shenemar v'hu loy panim kilkal. Ma'tikante yarba b'yeshiva." He has to continue and organize his thought process by learning Torah. Shenemar v'chayolim yigaber v'yisron hasher chachma. Koshkein imishnasa sedura lo mikara. Instead of you were confused and now all of a sudden you want to learn properly, it would be better that it was done properly at the beginning, because otherwise it's hard to undo the mistakes that are in your mind. They actually would review the 40 different times, connected the amount of days that the Torah was given. Rabbi Adam Barava Masada Mastisan Essen V'Arbazin 24 times can get turned Navim Ksubim. Connected the Sifri Tanakh, which is 24. V'Ayel Kamei the Rava, then he would go in front of Rava. Rava Omer Isa Talmud Shilimudu Kashal of Gabarzel. If you see a student that is learning is as difficult as iron, Bishvil Rabo Shenu Machspiru upon him. It's unbelievable Vart. It's not the student's fault. It's the teacher's fault, because he's not being nice to his students. He's causing that student to not enjoy his learning. It shows us the proper education to our students is that we have to be maspiru upon him. Upon him, that if you don't show him a face of joy, then kilkal, he'll end up not learning properly. So ma'tikante, yarbul of reim, increase your friends. It will be so much better, again, if he was learning properly from the beginning. What does the following pasuk mean? It says, Im that if the bite of the snake with its charming, then yisron l'bal halashon, and there's no benefit for the person who speaks lashon hara. So imur isador shashamayim mishtachin kinachayishes, that if you see that the sky is like rusty, like copper, that it's not going to rain or produce dew. It's referring to these people, the lecha shel achisha. So actually says, b'shvil she'ein mispalin tefillah b'lachash. They're not people that are davening properly. So ma'itekanton. You should go to someone who knows how to daven. What's the person davens, he's not answering? So Yelech Eitzel Chassid Shibador. You should go to the Chassid of the generation, Yarbu of Betfila, and he'll daven on your behalf. Shnamar V'Yitzav Aleha B'Mafgia V'In Pigia El Tfila, as we saw this pasuk already. Shnemar V'Yatol Tispalo B'Ada Amazev V'Al Tisa B'Adam Rina utfil val tifkabi. Don't encounter me, Hashem says to Moshe, which is referring to davening, which is also how we learn Pegia by Yaakov Avinu. He was Masak and Tfilas Arvis. The Molocha should also be Yodoi. Let's say you daven and all of a sudden you're successful. Megas Daitolov. And all of a sudden you're haughty because you were answered. Maybe Aful Oilam. You cause Af, anger to the world. Shnemar Mikna Af al Oila. You will acquire Af from Hashem for those that were answered. Rabbi Omer Shneitam Chacham Mishoshim Be'ir Achas. If you have two scholars, they're in the same city, but they don't calm each other down by learning. Miskanin ba'af umalin oisai. Shenemar mikna af al oila. So this is question 9. Almin nemar b'gemara shemaybe af al oil. Who brings anger to the world? That we say mikna af al oila. So it's one, as we said, is a person who, even though his tefillos were answered, and he's megas daito, his haughtiness, or Talmidei Chachamim that are in the city and they don't learn with each other, that also brings af. Omer Reish Lakish, my nechsev, im yishach hanachash b'lolachash v'in yisun l'bal l'ashain. Well, also the lovely, it's talking about in the future, miskabtza yisuvois kol chayos eitzel hanachash. All the animals are going to go to the snake. Yomim lo ari dairis v'aychel. A lion will pounce upon its prey and then eat it. Zeiv tarif v'aychel. That's what a fox will do, a wolf will do. What are you doing? You just bite the person and he dies and you slither away. So which basically says is that you have a tie on me because I bite the ankle of a person to bring him down. I don't elevate myself. It's nothing for my benefit. I just do it to destroy. That's the Baal Lashon Hara. Instead of growing and elevating yourself, you knock someone down. Rabbi, ein tfilaso shel adam nishmas. The tefillah, we're going to see, of an individual that davens will not be answered el imkein mesim atz anasho b'kapoy, unless he makes his soul and puts it in the palms of his hands. Shnemer nasal v'avenu el kapayim. Ein v'ha oikim shmul amoyra lehi v'darish. The pasuk says, V'fatuhu befihem, they seduced with their mouths. V'ilshainam yichazvu loy, v'libam loy nachan imoy, v'nemer b'vrisay v'afal pikein v'racham v'chaparavoin. Even though they were not necessarily the greatest, nonetheless, they were answered. Their tefillos were answered. So we see that, what do you mean it's only if you're mesim nafsha b'kapoy? It's not true. So when it says lo kasha, kan b'yochid, kan b'tzibor. This is the koyach of tefillah b'tzibor, that your tefillos are answered even if they're not 100%. Says Rashi, tefillasem nishmas al pi she'en lev kulam shalim. Amr of Ami, ein geshamim yardin el b'shvil bal yamana. The rain comes for the people who are of faith. Shnemar emes me'eretz titzmach, that the truth for the land will sprout forth. But tzedek mishmaim nishkaf, and will look down upon those individuals who are engaged in righteousness. The Amr of Ami, boyura, come and see. Kama gedalim bal yamana. How important are those who have faith? Minayin mechulda ubor. We learn it from the weasel and the pit. Umaha mamanim mechulda ubor kach. Those who we find that these animals have such faith. So hamamina b'kadosh baruch halachas kama kama. So then, if you have such faith in these things, certainly if you have faith in Hashem. Now, what exactly is this referring to? So, Taisus actually says it very nicely. If you look at Taisus, it says, Elu, in the middle of Taisus, Elu Shnayim, actually, let's see the whole Taisus. Perish, Ma'aminim b'chulda obor, Ma'aseh haya b'naira, Achas was a girl. She wanted to go to her father's house. And there was a pit there. She fell into the pit. A boy came. He said, great guy, if I bring you up from this pit, marry me. So what's she going to do? Otherwise she's going to die. So okay, fine. They swore that he wouldn't marry anyone else. and she will not marry anyone else. We're alone. Who's going to testify? There was a weasel going by this pit. The chuld and the boar will be our witnesses. The whole chuladarkum, they went on their path. So she followed the promise. But he ended up marrying someone else. V'yolda Bain gave birth to a child. Bas chulda, all of a sudden a weasel came. Unashachasu mace. Tragically, it bit this infant and it died. Yodel ben Shani, he had a second kid. V'naflu bor mace, and this kid fell into a pit and died. So Amru Ishto, his wife, was surprised. What's going on? So Nizkar Hashvua, the man remembered the Shvua. The Sipul Ishto Kol Maisa. He told her the whole story. Armelo in Kain Chazer, go back, Vikachena, and go take her. The customer get and write of a get. The Halach Vanasa Sabsua, and he went and he married this girl. And the Amri Hamanim Bebor V'chulda Shamidu Edusan. That regarding the testimony of these, the chuld and the boar, that stayed true to its word. So some say the woman was keeping her word, or that we should have the faith and remember the chuld and the boar. Okay, there's different ways of understanding the Kabbalah Chaimer. Rabbi Yochanan, Kol hamatzdik es atzmo molmata, matzdikin alav hadin molmala. Anyone who makes himself righteous, Rashi says, medaktikin iwa fil k'chuta saira, yosim mishi'ilu hamakalkal masav. Person's very, very careful, so then it will be the same thing above. Shnemer emes me'eretz titzmach v'tzedek mishmayim nishkaf. Rabbi Chia bar Rabin Omer Rav Huna Mahacha. We learn this from a different pasuk. Kirascha evrosecha, that those who fear you will be is your anger. Rish Lakish Mahacha Pagadata as sos. You've reached this joy. V'yasit tzedek, and done righteousness. B'derachecha, in your path, yiskurcha, you will remember. Hein ata kafatzta v'nechata. They will get upset at us and sin. Behem oilam v'nivosheya. Amr Rishon Levi. Kol hasamech misurin. Anyone who rejoices over the pains that they have, Sheboinala, maybe Yeshua oilam, brings salvation. Shnemer behem oilam v'nivosheya. Amr Shlakish Madechsev. V'atzar shemayim, that he's going to withhold the rains from the sky. B'shasha hashamayim nitzarim milhorid matar talmatar. When the rain doesn't come, Daimul Isha is comparable to a woman, Shemechabeles, that is in labor, Beinu Yoledes, but is unable to give birth. It says the same language by rain, as well as when it comes to a woman, as we continue to Chesed Beis. Nemrat Tzira Be'isha Shenemar, Ki Atzor Hashem Ba'ad Kol Rechem, that Hashem withheld a child from the womb. The Nemrat Tzir B'Geshamim D'chsev Atzar Sashamayim. It also says withholding rain. Nemar Leida B'Isha v'Nemar Leida B'Geshamim. It talks about birth of a woman having birth, also with rain. Nemar Leida B'Isha D'chsev V'Tar V'Teled Bein. Nemar Leida B'Geshamim D'chsev V'Hoylida V'Tzmicha. So we see these connections. Nemar Pekida B'Isha Nemar Pekida B'Geshamim. Pekida by a woman. Never Bekida B'Isha, Dechsev Hashem Pachad Asara. We had this at the end of the previous Masechta Rosh Hashanah, whether that's one of the Psukim, is Bekida Zechira. But never Bekida B'Geshamim, Dechsev Pakadata Haaretz V'Shakena, V'Toshakeka, and it'll give it to drink. Rabas Tashrena, it will increase its wealth. Peleg Elokim Moli Mayim. There'll be the pool of God will be filled with water. My Peleg Elokim, what does that mean? Moli Mayim. So Tana Kamin Kuba, like a tent. Yesh Berki in the heavens. Shememena geshamim, that rain comes, it's filled with it, and rain is yoitzin, goes down. Amar Shmuel bar Nachmani ma'idachsiv, im l'shevet, if to the stick or the rod, im l'artzo, im l'chesed yamtzi ehu. So what does that mean? Im l'shevet, if it's like a rod, beharim v'gvois, im l'chesed yamtzi ehu, l'artzo b'sados v'kramim. That happened, it's more important for the fields and the vineyards to have kinder, softer rains. Im l'shevet li'ilanos, it's also stronger, like a stick for the trees, which are strong. Im l'artzo l'zrayim, a softer rain for the vegetation and the seeds. Im l'chesed nimsuehu bar shichan amoris. B'yamei Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani havi kafna. There was a kafna umasana. There was this hunger and there was this plague. So Amri Hechi David, what should I do? There's two problems here. Niboy rachmi atarti. Should I ask Hashem forgiveness and we should be removed of both of these problems? Well, efsher, that's impossible. Eli boy rachmi amoy sana. I'll ask Hashem to save us from the plague. The kafna nitzboil, and then we will be spared from hunger. We'll see why. Amrul Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachmani, no, niboy rachmi akafna. You should first ask Hashem forgiveness, and we should be saved from the hunger. The chiyoy rachmana soiva l'chayhu diyoiv. Because who's Hashem going to give sustenance to? Only someone who's going to live. So Hashem's only going to give sustenance for people that are going to live. A person's going to die anyway because they have a plague. There's some type of pandemic of sorts that is killing everyone. So Hashem's not going to bother giving people food. How did he know you can't ask for two things? The pasuk says, that will fast and request from Hashem al zos on this. Must be there was something else going on, but at least they focused it on one thing at a time. The pasuk says, "V'rachamin lemiboy min kadam elah shmaya araza dina mechlal deikachrina." It says that we're requesting mercy on this. Which is mashma, there's something else. The meirav zera gozer gezerah begozer deloy l'meisa b'tainisa. There was a gezerah. There's a gezerah that they shouldn't have a fast. Armul Haram zera nikable ilvoin, that I'm going to accept upon myself this fast. L'chi batila gezerah, that when the gezerah is batal, leisve, I'll sit and I'll fast. So at least I'll accept it, so that when the gezerah is gone against us, that I'll be able to fast later on. So how do you know that you can just accept this tainus for later on? So Yomer Altira Daniel, don't be afraid. Ki min hayom harishan esher nosata es libcha l'havin l'sanos of neshamakecha nishmu devaracha. From the time that you had in mind to fast, Hashem already listened to you. So even if you didn't fast already, Rav Yitzchak afil shnaim kishnei Eliyahu, even if it's the shanim kishnei Eliyahu, just like the years of Eliyahu, says Rashi, b'mei achav shari oilum tzarech l'geshamim, they're in desperate need of rain in the days of Eliyahu and Achav. Yordi geshamim ba'arbe shabbasais ein elasim in klola. If it rains on a Friday, that's a curse. Why? Rain is so important for them. So Rashi says, "Shebnei adam srichen lechazer b'shuk liknus to the Shabbos." It's not the time for it to rain. That's when people are shopping on getting food for Shabbos. Hainu di Amar Rabba bar Shila kasha yoma de mitra. Difficult is the day of rain, ki yoma de dina, just like the day of judgment. Says Rashi, shein b'nei adam yichoyin laso sarchehen, because they can't do what they need to do when it's raining. You can't go outside. It's like a day of judgment, says Rashi. Sheni v'chamishi shemiskabsin b'nei adam ladun im chavarehen. That's the time when people go to court on Mondays and Thursdays. Ketekanas Ezra shish There's all this noise. Certainly, it's bad for it to rain on Friday. So Mondays and Thursdays is bad because then people can't do what they need to do, so as courts. And then Friday's also bad because they need to do for Shabbos. Omar Meimar. So Meimar says, if it wasn't for the fact that people need rain, I would actually ask for Hashem to be mavatal. The sun that shines on Shabbos is like charity for the poor, because it makes them feel good, it warms them up if it's cold. The sun is like charity. Even the money in your pocket is blessed when it rains. So it's a very good thing. It blesses everything. Famous line that the only time bracha can happen is something that's hidden, something that like people don't know where it is. It's not something which is visible. That there'll be bracha in your silos, which means in your hidden places. The eye doesn't see. Turn about hanichnas lamoid as garno. A person is going in to measure what's in his silo. Hashem should cause blessing in my hands and the work of my hands. Hiskil lamoid, if you begin to count and measure, Hashem should bless this pile. Madad, if let's say you already measured, if you shein bracha matsuya lo b'davar hashakul v'lo b'davar hamodoid v'lo b'davar hamonoi el b'davar hatsami min ha'ayin. And we're going to stop there. It has to be something that is completely covered from the eyes. But if you know you have 4,000 pounds of wheat in your silo, so how is it possible that all of a sudden you're going to have this nes begoloi, this revealed open miracle, that all of a sudden now you have 6,000 pounds of wheat? But if you have no idea how much it is, so then you can be blessed with it. Okay, let's see a couple of questions. Question 9. Almi nemer begemara shemevi aful oilam. Okay, I did that. Question 10. L'inyan ma husker begemara sheish yisroin l'tfila b'tzibor b'tfila b'yochid. So how is it possible that a person davens b'tzibor is better off? So the answer is the b'tzibor tfilas and nishmas av she'en liban shalom b'kavana. Even if you don't have the greatest level of kavana, your tefillos can be answered. Mashin b'yachid has to be that you have a tremendous amount of kavana. TA 26. Kafna umoisana. So you have hunger and a famine. Alma mavakshin l'maskana. What is the first thing that you should do? Because you can't ask for both to be removed. So what's the one thing you should do? So we say that you should ask that the hunger should go away. Who's Hashem going to satiate? Only those who are going to live, those who will not die of a pestilence or some type of pandemic.